So here we are, video 17, and I've started work on the spars. It's pretty much the same as the masts, except you've got to put a tapered end. Once you've tapered one end, you've got to put that into the drill and be very careful. Just don't squeeze it too tight. And then I'm using a 60 grade just to hold between my fingers gently and just let it sand down to size. Only takes a few minutes. I think we're about there with that one. And then you can just compare it. See the plan looks pretty much adjacent. I marked a center line just so you've got an idea. It keeps you straight and you get both sides equal. So I shall carry on and do the rest of them. As I said in the other video, they're all marked, they're all numbered, all set out, so I know what's what on the plan. And we'll just run those down, and then we'll be looking at putting some backstays onto the masts. We've got that to do, and we'll be putting the blocks, some of the blocks, as you can see here, I hope, on the plan. Yeah, the blocks that it's shown on here, all these will be put on before we do anything else with it, on all of them. So I'll just finish sanding these off and then I'll be back. If you're just joining us for the first time, there's 16 previous videos on building the Mayflower, and if you subscribe you'll get to see the next ones, and also the build of the blue nose, which is the next one I'm going to be building. So subscribe and I'll be back when I've done these. Right, I've got those done. So as you can see, they're all laid out on the plan. I'm doing a bit of handheld recording here, so you can see they're all done to size. All of those. Just, oh wait a minute, there's one thing to bear in mind on this, is that one is actually the mizzen boom. Must be that top one, I guess. Yeah. So it starts from, it's off center. See, all these have got the center line marked, so you know to taper the same each side. But this one is way off center, but it tapers that way the same amount it does that, but obviously that's longer. That's to bear in mind. And the other thing is over here, there's one I missed, which is 182, whatever that says, but that little piece is that. I haven't seen how it fixes yet, but that's that piece. So I've got that to put on. And then looking at the plan for the stays, more errors I'm afraid, which is why I'm doing the handheld bit. Well, where do we start? Obviously A is the fixing for the bow sprit. That's okay. However, it is not the fixing for the forestay of the mainmast. That should be a B, which is that, which is the same as that, and the same as that. So that's one error. I'm sure there was another one. We'll come back to it if there is. Can't see it for now. But you can see that these, that's C, which is done like that. That's D, which is done like that. And where's an E? There. E, which is a double, done like that. But yeah, more errors. D, is that a D? Yeah, that's okay. And that's D. I think it's just that one. It's definitely a B, or should be. So I'm going to bring the model back and start putting the stays on, putting some rigging on now. Okay. Okay, so I brought the model back and before we start on the rigging, I'd just like to put this little, I don't know, it's a, call it a boom or what it is. There's no name for it, but we have to drill a hole in the back here. So just, if you just drill a little hole through just to make sure you're in the right place, and then you can just get a little rat tail file like this. Just open it up so it's in the right position and at the right angle or thereabouts. We're nearly there. Just got to use the very end of the file so you don't catch the deck. So I've got quite a lot more subscribers this last week. Things are beginning to take off. Hopefully the channel will pick up pace. As it's going now. So if you've not subscribed, just be nice if you did. Not sure I'll get too much done this week because other things going on with work. I think that'll do. It's got about the right angle. It's not quite touching the deck, but if I push it further in it will, but I don't want to do that. Just a little bit more. Just taking it off the top now, off the back edge. Notice we've got little angles on the end of this as well. As per the plan. There, that's better. And we need some glue, which I put away. Just put a blob on the end. I haven't got a dish out. That's the thing when you get cleaned up. Working from the table in the house, you've got to get cleaned up. Then everything's put away. Whereas if you're like me, you've got everything out and it's all in a mess. But it's a well organised mess. And I know where everything is. Right. Put that in, make sure I get the angle right. I'll just put a bit more on that actually. There we go. Don't want to leave any glue behind because I've varnished it now. Make sure it's straight, which is not. There we go. Right. So we'll start to do some rigging. So this is what we're doing all the stays. They're the first thing to go on, and we need to tie these. Those we need to tie onto the ends first. This we can do afterwards. We'll need to fix the ends on to the mast, and then put this bit on. That's D, which is there. But this one, we'll tie these on first. What's what? It does say on here, if I get it in the lens, got stays and shrouds. This mark here, as I found out, it says single, and this means double, but it doesn't tell me what size. Something else we need to do. Something else we need to do first, and that is the lashings for the bowsprit are here. And this, we haven't got this slot in here. So we need to put that in. I'll do that now. Not sure this is going to work, but we'll give it a try. Really must get a new drill. One of the collets missing. It would just be the one I need. It's been easy to do this before we assembled it, but I didn't see it. So just there. Not good. There we are. It's okay. Even that side looks okay. There we go. Right, now we can start. Right, so I had to go and glue the bowsprit in. It's pretty obvious how it goes. It just sits down in the bottom there and glues to the side. So we'll just let that set and we'll start on tying some of these. There we go. These little blocks that we need for this first part. Now then, if we look at the plan, we have numbers in black squares, letters in white squares. So the letters in the white squares refer to this, for this bit. So it's A, which is there, C, which are these, and D, which are those. But as I pointed out before, that's wrong, because that should be a B. That's the same as that. It's nothing to do with that. Same as that one is a B, and that one's a B. And then the numbers here, the black numbers, correspond to the numbers here. So that's the number 1 bowsprit gammoning, which is, can you see, number 1 there. Number 2, mainstays. Number 3, main top stays, and so on. They're all listed there. So the first thing we'll do is we'll tie these, and according to the plan, these are in number 2, which is mainstays, which is single. I don't believe that for a minute. Oh well, maybe it is. Certainly not that. That's for whipping it on. So many mistakes on these plans. No way. No. So many mistakes. Plans are really bad. Right, so I brought my little vise in for tying these. If you haven't got one of these, it might pay you to get one, because you'll probably need it unless you've got 3 hands. So what we do is, put it in the right place here. We'll take one of these and just nip it in there like that, and then we take the thread that we want to go around it, and you don't have to, but I always tie one one little knot just to hold it, and then make sure you bring the end down. Just pull it tight that way. That's it, just holds it in place a bit better, so you don't, otherwise you'd need 4 hands. And then take a length of your binding thread, make the loop again. This is fiddly, to say the least. And then lay that on there. Try again. And hold it right up against the end. Like that. And then start binding again. Keep it as tight up as you can. Keep some pressure on. Make the bindings fairly tight. We can adjust it a bit when we get some turns on there. Just try and keep them going the right way, downwards. Put a good few turns on. Hope you can see this. Push it up to the knot. As much as you can. I've got about 7 or 8 turns on there. And cut your loose end off. And then, again, doesn't matter which way you go this time, thread it through, back through the loop you made. Pull that down. And then pull the other end to pull that loop in. See it going on. I can't let go to show you, but there it is in the loop. Just pull it in until it's up against the bindings. And then pull it down inside. Not a particularly good one, no, I've got a twist in it there. How's that happened? One overlapping. There we go. Pull that in. And then take that loose end. Cut that off. Make sure it's all pulled up tight. And make sure you don't cut the wrong end here. So get the 2 short ones. And cut those off as short as you can. And there we go. And then just cut it to long enough so you know you've got enough. The bottom end isn't so long, so we don't want to waste too much. Cut it off there. And you'll end up with all sorts of ends of cotton. Right, so that's that one. Now we need to fix it on. I tried this one before. Make sure I got it right before I showed you how to do it, which is there. So that's the long one. So with this, we just go up through the crow's mast. You can't see now, can you? So going up through the crow's mast, around the back of the mast, and back down again. But what we need is to know the distance to here, which is somewhere just in front of the mast, somewhere there. So as long as you get that approximately in the right place, then we can just tie that off. Oh yeah, so it's just a reef knot. About right. You can bind that later if you want to put a binding on that. Make it look more authentic, which I probably do. Right, so on here, it doesn't actually show you where it goes to down here. Well, it does if you once you know where it goes. If you look on here, and you look very carefully, you can actually see it comes down and it's whipped around the bottom end of the bowsprit. So that's what we'll do. Now the best way of doing this is to take a safe paper clip, just open it out to about the gap you want. There's a small gap between them, probably about that. So we could use that as it is. Just open those out. And then what you can do is, here's that bottom one. Hook that in there. Hook that one on that side. And that'll give you a gap. And it'll hold it while you lash this bottom end off. And it goes through the stanchions. And then it goes around the bowsprit. And then tie that off with a couple of hitches. Need some tweezers, I think. There we go. Oops. You can see that. So it comes through the stanchions and then just a couple of turns, get it central, a couple of half hitches, and then again I'll put a binding on that so it looks more authentic. Could be tricky, but we'll do it. Oh dear. We'll stick that and leave it, and then pull all that tight later. But you see, I've got the binding on. I haven't left the bowsprit long enough to set. So I think that's stuck now. We've come back, we can trim things off. Forgot where I got to. Okay, I pulled that in. I need to just tighten things up on here. I'll PVA that later. So then here we need to do this bit. That's obviously thinner stuff, I think. Right. I think that'll do. Down through the loop. Pull the loop in with this one, not too tight because it's not very tight on there. There we go. Get a drop of PVA on there and it'll hold it. Oh, again. It'll hold it firmly in place. Ah, that's fine. First one done. Right, so back with another day, and I made some changes. I'm not going to show you how to do it all again because I've already recorded it, but this particular stay, it didn't look right in the in this one. It was just a bit too thin. So looking through the plans, it does actually say, I don't know what it said now, but it does actually say black rope, and strangely in the kit there is no black rope. So I've used some that I had left over from the Victory, and I've redone it. It's a bit thicker and I think it looks a lot better. So I've done that. So the next bit now is the bowsprit gammoning, as they call it, which is this that goes around here to hold the bowsprit down. So again, I've got the black thread, I had to put those little bits on as well. I missed those off. There's one there, there's one on the main mast at the back, and there's one on the foremast which I haven't put on yet, but it's only a little tiny bit of wood. So we're just going to tie this on as it shows us. Good old reef knot. Or if you pull it tight, it goes into 2 hitches, 2 half hitches. I'll leave that end, we might need that. There. Now then, right, rather than trying to dangle this down and poke it through, what you need to do is me well prepared again. Super glue. Super glue. And just dip it in. And then just do that. Don't stick your fingers together. There we go. Now it's like a needle. Makes it a lot easier. And then start threading it. So then we have to just finish it off somehow, like this, and tie it off. There we go. And we'll cut the ends off short. Don't forget everything needs to be coated in PVA, so you just got to be careful with it until you get it glued up. And there we go. It's okay. A bit difficult to see. Would have been black, but that's fine. So the only other thing we haven't seen is this one, which is D, which is that one and that one. So we'll do one of those. I'll do the back one. It's easy for you to see, hopefully. So we need to tie these. So I'll use this thick stuff again. Good old Victory leftovers. See the holes are actually offset to one side. So this is the side the rope comes off, the side nearest the holes. So that needs to go in like that, with the holes towards me. And I'll slip it down into 2 half hitches rather than the reef knot. You can bind it easier. There we are. Cut off the loose ends. There we go. And then we'll do another one. The small one. This is going to be fun. So a hole towards me. You can hardly see this. Make sure everything's tight. Cut off the right ends. I've done that before. Cut the wrong end off. Very annoying. Oh, the other thing I haven't shown you is like this isn't so bad, this one actually, but on a lot of these things you get a lot of just straggly hairs that distract a lot from the scale. So I use beeswax. You can get it from any modelers, and you just pull the cord through it. Just a couple of times. And it gets rid of all that and straightens it as well. This is a bit more awkward because the holes in here are so small we can't put that paper clip in to hold them in place, so we're going to have to do a bit of guesswork here. Where does that go? It goes up there, around there and down there. Again, pull it into 2 half hitches. Just check. No, something's too long. I can't get that much short. I'll have to shorten this one. What I have got, you may need to get some, are these rigging tools. Get in focus. Hook on one end and a little swan neck on the other end. I can't really get it in focus. That's one. And then the other one I've got has got a hook on one end and it's got like a slotted spade on the other. you can push things through. There we are, get my hand in, it goes in focus. But these hooks are very useful. Especially for undoing knots. Maybe a slip knot. It's better. Right, now then. So now we need some fine thread for this because they are very, very small holes. And then when they find really small holes like that, you've got this hard bit on the end now of your thread. Just cut it off at an angle. Like that. Let's see if it works. So this has to be tied off at the single block end. And then, just looking at the drawing, that's all. No, I'm not going through there, is it? It is, it's gone through. It's through there. And look at where it falls, so I'll go through from that side. That's it. And that's not very tight, so I'm going to put some PVA on that straight away and let it set. Looks a mess, but you won't see it when it's soaked in. Just want to do the other one while I'm on. There we go. I just got to bind the top and bottom, but I'll wait till it sets before I do that. So that's showing you how to do that type around the tops, the bindings, the bow sprit, and that type with the block and tackle, pulling it together. So it's coming on, not as much done this week as I would have liked to have done, but I'm busy at work, unfortunately. I've got more time next week, like I said before, so hopefully I'll get more done then and release it again next Wednesday. So I'm also just about, I think, to order the blue nose, which is the next model. So like and subscribe to that, and to the channel. Help build the channel for me, and you'll get to see building the blue nose next time. Well, not next video, but once this is complete. So that's it for now.